Good morning. Welcome to our November resident quarterly meeting. Actually, I realized this weekend, the last one for this year. So we're making progress through the year. The proceedings of the morning are being recorded, are being live streamed on 51 and are being recorded and will be shown on the YouTube and 51 fairly quickly, Tom assures me. So for those who say to you, what happened? Encourage them to look for YouTube and Channel 51. So we're happy this morning to have reports from all of our committees, our officers and our committees. And so they will proceed in order and you will be able to follow who is reporting by what's on the screen for us this morning. So we will start with, first of all, a report from our Executive Director.
Good morning. Happy Monday. It's a nice little Indian summer that we're having, right? Thank you, Andy, for pulling out all the plants. All right, so I don't have a whole bunch to report. We have town hall tomorrow. I'm going to save all my good stuff for town hall tomorrow. But I did just want to mention that if you have not seen the North Corridors, you should venture down. They are looking quite lovely. And the carpet, I believe, is down on all the floors. We're moving quite along. And that project will be done in about 3 weeks, so fingers crossed. But there'll be no furniture until, they said, somewhere between January and April. I thought that was very nice of them to give us that update. I think that's about all I have. Anybody have any questions? We'll see you all for tomorrow at Town Hall. We have some really good announcements and some good things that we're working on, especially in the culinary department. Have a great day. Thank you. Town Hall tomorrow.
The last 3 months have been a busy quarter for the work of the Executive Council, and I appreciate the diligence with which your district representatives have participated in that. The bylaws have been brought into compliance with the constitutional changes that this body made in August, and our focus has been on the end of the year elections for the officers for next year. The district representatives are holding meetings to elect the members of Executive Council for next year. So that will happen in each district. The process for the Nominating Committee to prepare the slate of officers for the candidates for the officer positions has been in progress. You can independently nominate candidates also. If you wish to do that before the deadline of November 15th, please be in contact with Jean Cahal, the chair of the Nominating Committee. The election of officers will take place on December the 15th. That will happen here in the Murfield Room. If you are unable to vote in person on that day, you can submit an absentee ballot to your district representative. So information about the candidates, the voting process, and a ballot will be distributed to your apartment by the end of November. So watch for that important information. As we work to make this election as inclusive as possible for all residents, council members took care to see that the residents in Waterford and Alderwood will be able to vote as they are able and interested in doing. As you hear the reports from all the committees today, pay attention to the areas of activities that interest you. In December is your chance to sign up for committee membership for next year. On December the 2nd, from 11 to 12, there will be a committee fair. The committee chairs will be here in the Murfield Room to answer your questions about their committee and their work. You can sign up then on December 2nd or at any time in the month of December. The sign-up sheets will be at the committee fair, and then later in a notebook on the program table in the main lobby. Committee membership is your opportunity to bring your ideas, volunteer your time, and learn about aspects of our life together here at Friendship Village. So please plan to be a part of that in 2022. Oh, what's that about? Okay. Okay. We have our handy IT team right here working on this for me. So the next report is our report from the Vice President, Larry Kennedy, who was not able to be here this morning. So I have his report to share with you. As you know, Larry typically collects the submitted comment cards every Sunday. Oh, okay, we need to go back. Here we go. All right, now we're on track. Thank you, gentlemen. Okay, so Larry collects the comment cards every Sunday. The number of positive and negative comment cards per week submitted through the past quarter remain quite meager, seldom exceeding about 10 each week. Larry feels it is difficult to draw any specific conclusions from such a small sampling, but there is some useful feedback, and we encourage you to continue to submit those cards. As usual, the majority of the responses are directed toward culinary, since food is very important for all of us. Even with the small number of cards returned, there's been a noticeable improvement in positive responses that residents have submitted about their dining experiences in both the Legacy and the Riverwalk dining rooms. Further, the residents have expressed strong support for the revised menus that have been initiated, and in addition, the comment cards have acknowledged improved service as Friendship Village struggles with staff shortages in our culinary department. In the wellness and community life area, there have been continued to be strong positive endorsements of the programs. In particular, the offered music programs, the flu and COVID inoculations, off-campus programs at Otterbein and Columbus Symphony, and they have implemented the very useful Touchdown program is also appreciated. As a reminder, all comments submitted are forwarded to the respective departments for their attention. So those cards do reach the people that you have referenced in your comments. During this quarter, in addition to council meetings, Larry participated in the committee meetings of charitable giving, healthcare, and finance. And he has served as a hospitality contact and attends regular meetings with Rita and the other officers. So that is our report from the Vice President. Now we will have a report from Charlie Stearns, our Resident Director.
Thank you. From the board, as you could expect, and is certainly a tradition around here, the board has been active for sure since our last quarterly meeting in August. A number of things hit the lights, but I wanted to focus on 5 of those, at least for our time together this morning. One is the very important Life Care Services Relationship Committee. That committee was designed and does provide oversight and direction to the whole transfer to self-management. Not a small task, again, by any means, for the staff. For those of us as residents, we really don't see that much. It's under the surface, it's operational, and it's focused on a long list of things, not the least of which are IT, finance systems, payroll systems, purchasing arrangements, insurance, and just to add on to that, it goes on. So there's a lot more to it, and because of the fact that a lot of this goes on underneath all of us that we don't have visibility to, the board recognizes full well and for good and valid reasons the work that the leadership team, is really the work that's being done, has been tremendous. And in fact, in all of these and other issues that need adjusting because of self-management, we are way ahead of these timelines that were originally established to get all of this done by the end of July, or the end of January, rather. So for the board and for them and for the leadership team, they are moving along extremely well, and the board recognizes this big time. Another committee that's been active during this time is the Quality Assurance and Resident Relations Committee. Two parts to this. One is the committee met on the 28th of October with a long list of items on their agenda. One of those, and the headline issue, really was the quality metrics that group is responsible for oversight, monitoring, reporting, and follow-up when that's necessary. All of those metrics really fall into a wide variety of areas around our village. Alderwood, Waterford Place, resident health, navigation services, community life and rehabilitation, and there are some even more than that. The point of all that is that their job is to monitor and to review and to follow up again on issues that rise out of those quality metrics. For us, it gives us the comfort that people are looking at all this and following up, and that's a big part of what makes Friendship Village for sure. The second part of their job is a twice yearly meeting with the Executive Council. The second meeting of this year comes up actually December 2nd. And the important part of that, certainly for us, is that it gives residents an opportunity to respond to various questions that come up from the board that they want to have our feedback on. So it's one way that that kind of feedback happens. We know that there are a lot of ways that the residents communicate with the board, rather, but that's one of them, and that's one that happens routinely. Also, during this same time period since August, we received the audit, and that's done by Plant Moran this year, as it has been for several years, and that has also been not only reported at the board meeting, but also to the Finance Committee. The good news, again, out of that is that beyond just the numbers is the fact that Plant Moran, again, not unusually, thank goodness for that, declared it to be a clean audit. What does that all mean? Well, in part, that means that during their audit, they found no adjustments, no disagreements with management, no management letter was required, and no issues were seen with internal controls. That doesn't happen by chance, nor does that happen infrequently here. Luckily, we have some history of that. But the credit for all of that, of course, goes to Craig and the finance team, who really put that together and worked with Plant Moran very, very closely, obviously, in an audit. We've talked about the activities of the board since our last meeting. Committees continue to meet on a regular and routine basis. Since that time, in addition to the LCS committee and the Resident Relations Committee, the following committees have met, namely Finance, Human Resources, Charitable Giving, Marketing, the Master Planning and Implementation Committee, Corporate Compliance, and the Executive and Strategic Planning Committee. When we talk about the effort and the time that directors put into Friendship Village and fulfilling their responsibilities, which they take extremely seriously, as they should, those are the kinds of things that we see happening and are all accruing to our benefit indirectly or directly. Likewise, last topic, new directors. This year, unusually actually, there are 5 members of the board that will complete their terms of service. It's a big and huge responsibility for the board to, and they take, again, seriously, the replacement of new directors. They fully understand that this isn't just something that you go out and ask somebody, well, you want to do this? No, it's a very carefully defined and designed system of evaluating candidates for those positions and working through a mechanical process that's been really in place, again, for a number of years. This time, for instance, they really are looking for expertise, diversity, experience, knowledge, obvious leadership ability, board experience, and a sense of commitment, a willingness on the part of the candidates for board membership, and an understanding of the time requirement. As volunteers, and they all are, we do ask a lot of our board, and they respond, as you can see, in pretty significant ways. 2 directors have been selected so far to start in January. Obviously, the other 3 have not, probably won't, and the board is the way they're looking at this is simply, that's okay. We want to continue to pursue the selection process as it's defined in order to get the right people in the right jobs and not just feel the pressure of having to fill a job just to fill a job. And that's the way that they look at all of this and move forward in that way. Those are the primary things that I wanted to cover this morning. Glad to answer. If you have any questions, that's fine too. But at this point, we'll continue to do that. Yes, James. Yes. Executive Council? Yeah, thank you. That's a good question. And yes, these are Zoom meetings now. We used to do them in person, but of course now we're doing them on Zoom. But the answer to your question is those meetings occur with the Executive Council, which of course are our representatives anyway. That's an interesting question, and thank you for asking it, because it takes on a lot of shapes and forms. The question was, are there other, thank you, I forgot to do that. Are there other opportunities, and do residents have an opportunity in other ways? I want to touch on that, in addition to sending questions to the Executive Council to ask. There are, and I did not bring it with me, but I have a pretty comprehensive list of a variety of ways, or the variety of ways, that residents find their opinions and their questions finding their way to the board. And I can assure you there are several. Just thinking of it just out loud as I'm going through, I'm thinking maybe 8 to 10 different ways that happens. In this particular case, and for this meeting, the board is interested in, what do we think? We need your ideas, we need your perspective, we need your thoughts about 1, 2, or 3 questions. So the answer really is that in this context and in this setting, the board is really looking for us to respond rather than for us to bring questions. The other part of all this is that this is all big view issues. We're not talking in this meeting about the details of what we might be concerned about legitimately here in our operations on a daily basis. We're asked to respond more to big issues. Policy. This board is a policy board. It's not an operational board. And so that's the next of the questions and how the questions are put together. They do that. It does so just in their answers. Now that may, because you are communicating on a regular basis with your resident directors, whether it's in meetings, whether it's in daily conversations, or whatever it happens to be. There's no reason why you couldn't know what the agendas are and what the 3 questions are. The answers to those questions, this would not be in advance of the meeting necessarily, because we don't have them ourselves yet. But they would certainly have the opportunity for the resident directors are going to know, because they're going to have to put the answers together or the comments that they want to make. Yeah, it does. Well, it is. It is an important process. And the thing that, as I put this list together, that impressed me, and I realize I'm way over my 3 minutes now, I'm sure, there are probably more ways that we have of communicating ideas and thoughts to the board than perhaps we even realize happens. And that's a whole other topic, which is worth it. Thank you very much. Forgive me for the extra time.
In addition to what Charlie has said, I will report at each executive council meeting monthly. Your district representatives report on concerns and issues and questions that come in your district. So there's many opportunities in that way to convey your concerns. Okay. So your secretary distributed the minutes from last meeting right after that meeting, and they were delivered to every apartment, and copies have been available in the library. So I'm hoping that you have reviewed those, and I would appreciate a motion to approve those minutes that were distributed. Okay, I hear Mitch making it and Richard Belleville seconding that motion. Any questions about those minutes? All in favor of approving them, say aye. Any opposed or abstaining? Thank you very much. Now we will proceed with committee reports. The first one is hospitality.
Thank you. Good morning. The Hospitality Committee continues to welcome new residents. Today we're pleased to welcome those who have moved to Friendship Village of Dublin in the last 3 months, and if they're here, they could stand or wave if they choose to. First, Rosalie Krieger moved from Akron, Ohio, but maintains her relationship with her synagogue there. She moved to Friendship Village to be closer to family. She's been line dancing and enjoying activities here. Please welcome Rosalie to B132. Next, John and Nancy Coos moved locally from Dublin. Nancy's over there. John is retired from the city of Grandview Heights, where he served as chief building official. He likes to read and golf. Nancy retired from the Ohio Bureau of Workers' Compensation, where she was a labor relations manager. She also likes to read. William, or Bill, and Marie King, over here, moved from Cambridge, Massachusetts. Bill retired after 41 years with Graybar Electric Company at 7 different locations in 7 cities in the Mid-East and Midwest. He completed at least 1 AVA certified walk in each of the 50 states. Marie had a career in nursing education. She says she's a perpetual student in lifelong learning programs at Boston University. And before COVID, she enjoyed travel and playing bridge. Welcome the Kings to A466. Thank you. Joyce Wells moved here from Naples, Florida. Her career was as a writer. She first published poetry, then short stories, then novels, and finally taught writing online as a national publisher till she was age 82. Please welcome Joyce to B356. Carol Hoffer moved here from Upper Arlington, having lived in Columbus for 50 years. Her early days were spent in Pittsburgh, Pennsylvania. She raised 2 daughters, taught school briefly, and worked in career development. She continues to play the organ and enjoys playing bridge. Please welcome Carol to A339. Audrey Hyatt Sims moved from Canal Winchester, but has lived in many places from Boston to Seattle. She's an Army veteran of 27 years. We thank Audrey for her service. She's an artist and very happy that her apartment is close to the art room here. Please welcome Audrey to B130. Steve and Dorothea, or Dot Dolan, moved from Rochester Hills, Michigan. Steve graduated from Wayne State with a degree in finance and worked at Chrysler Corporation as a controller. He likes to play bocce, so we'll look forward to that. Dot graduated from Indiana State University in special education and business. She worked as a speech correctionist. She taught at Rockford College in the Cleft Palate Clinic. She was active in a book club, golf league, and bridge groups. Please welcome the Dolans to A470. And John and Donna Kachinka, over here, are just settling in. They moved from nearby, about 10 minutes away in Columbus, and I think they're still unpacking. John likes to read, Donna loves animals and has a particular affection for hummingbirds, and both like to exercise and walk. Please welcome the Kuchinkas to Riverstone 4311. Thank you.
Good morning. I'm here to represent the Associate Appreciation Committee, and our committee met on October 8th, 2021 to have an orientation for the new members, Laura Hill and Bill Evans, and our returning member, Ann Barnes. The committee reviewed and approved the fund letter to be distributed for you on November the 1st, which I hope you've all received it. And the letter includes the chart for recommending ways you might consider what your gift is. And again, we point out these are voluntary gifts from everybody to the associate for what they've done for us in the past year. The committee members will then be collecting the contributions daily through November from the boxes that you see around the different locations here. The committee members will also prepare the gift checks using a complete list from all the associates that worked here on November 1. And that comes from our finance department, so we work closely with them, as well as working closely with Heartland Bank. In January, after we've received everything, we will report our funding arrival, and we'll be posting all of the thank you cards that we do get back from the associates, thanking them for what your gift you've given them. Then our next report to the quarterly council will be the final dollar amounts, what we've done for the sector. I also want to give you an update report that coming through this weekend, we're over $60,000 already in 1 week. And in every Eller vote starting this week will be a reminder for everyone to make sure you get your gifts in. If any questions, I'd be happy to answer them. Thank you.
The calendar and our hearts tell us it's Thanksgiving season. We're thankful for the beauty of gardens, delight in family and friends, for services and safety at Friendship Village, and this time of year to share our blessings. Charitable giving to Friendship Village Dublin is one way by which we could all share our blessings with each other and those in need. Both the Resident Charitable Giving Committee and the Board Charitable Giving Advisory Committee met last month. Full participation from all members and participation from Betsy and Rita. On September 14, as you remember, there was a tour of the gardens, and many of us, plus guests, enjoyed the gardens and the hard work of Andy and his team. That evening, we hosted a thank you reception for those donors outside, generally corporations, who sponsored the Light the Way campaign, which is a benefit program for assisted living and memory care. 80 people enjoyed that reception with drink and food. And then on September 27, we organized in this room a lifelong learning event where Betsy Gillespie talked about charitable giving in Friendship Village, Dublin, and 4 members of our committee shared ways by which they give to charitable giving. Our committee has evaluated the Associate Emergency Fund, as you may remember when COVID hit really hard, universities, other institutions, and we created a Corona pandemic emergency fund. The program has been evaluated, and we vote to recommend that the program continue beyond COVID with up to $500 grants for emergencies. We also approved a request from the workshop committee to enhance the workshop. Now, September 30 marks the end of the first quarter. Seems strange, but the first quarter is now end September 30. We received funds totaling $34,824 for 5 of our charitable funds, which was a 7% increase over last year. As of September 30, the fund balances are resident benevolence, $330,000, capital projects, $51,000, health services, $104,000, scholarship, $299,000, community enrichment, $19,000, greatest need, $3,000. So total balance for the 6 funds is $807,236. That's a remarkable balance that we hold in those funds, and the funds are there to be used. We then, as a committee, set goals and strategies for fundraising before the end of the calendar year. Jack has indicated the Associate Appreciation Fund, and we coordinate well with Jack and the committee about separating charitable funds, fundraising, from the Associate Appreciation Fund. But on November 30, all of us will receive notes from committee members reminding us of the charitable fund drive, and soon thereafter, letters will come from Betsy and Rita. So as each of us plans our giving this season of the year to family and friends, please make a decision to support at least one of the charitable giving funds. Respectfully submitted, Ned Dwyer.
Good morning. I'm here to report on behalf of the Finance Committee. The financial information that is presented at this meeting is to be regarded as confidential in nature. It is not for public distribution. As was referred to earlier, the audit report for the fiscal year July 1, 2000 through June 30, 2021 was presented at the last Finance Committee meeting. The audit was completed by Plant Moran, who is independent from Friendship Village. And the auditors concluded that the financial statements of Friendship Village of Dublin present fairly the consolidated financial statements, the financial position of Friendship Village, and the results of operations and cash flows according to the principles of accounting appropriate for this institution. The report indicated that Friendship Village experienced excellent return from its investments during the year. The auditors also found that Friendship Village operating revenue and operating expenses were very favorable, especially when compared to other facilities for the last fiscal year. The COVID pandemic hit all retirement communities hard. Friendship Village of Dublin financially dealt with the pandemic issues very well. Many retirement communities are experiencing significant difficulties. Those difficulties are not being experienced here, thankfully. With the help of the funds that were received from the federal government and a fantastic stock market, essentially we operated at break even last year, which is rather remarkable given the environment as it was. There is information here that was presented by Craig. The villas, as of September 30, were fully occupied. You can see that the apartments had 37 vacancies. Waterford was full, and the health center was almost completely full, even now that we have moved people to Alderwood. The other slide is that these are a couple metrics that the bond rating agency looks at and our board of directors certainly looks at very closely, and that is that the cash on hand to pay our bills was greatly in excess of the days required. This is a very high, comfortable level. It should give assurance to all of us that we're in great shape. And in terms of accounts receivable, that is money that is owed to Friendship Village by residents, was on average only outstanding for 11 days, which again is a very, very nominal amount and an excellent experience.
Thank you.
I'm Pat Deach, Chair of the Food Committee. We have 4 dining venues, and changes are being or have been made in each one. In the River's Edge, starting in mid-November, the River's Edge will be open from 8 to 8, and food will be served for lunch and dinner. There will be 14 menu choices, and that includes sandwiches, salads, and paninis, which will be available in the coolers, mostly for pickups, with some on-site dining. The store will be open in the morning and the afternoon, but not during meal times, and residents will be limited to purchasing one of each item. The Bistro menu has changed and now includes 8 sandwiches and 4 salads, and a mix and match option is available, and shakes and floats are exciting on the menu. The River Walk has changed, and there are now 12 regular items and 2 weekly international items for choices. The venue will still be closed on Mondays and Tuesdays until we're notified, which may be soon. The Legacy, the steam tables are working and the food is warm. There are 14 choices, and these include a variety of buffet items. The Heart Healthy, the Chef Special, and the Blue Plate Specials are available each week, and they're described in the menu that you receive in your box and in the kiosk. If you have comments, please complete a comment card, or you can contact me if you don't want it in writing. And I bring all of those to the Food Committee meeting, which will be December 7th. Now, we still have local and national food shortages, but in all of the venues, there are over 35 choices, and the food is delicious. We still have staffing shortages, but the staff that we have is doing a great job. My personal opinion is that we are blessed to be at Friendship Village of Dublin, and we should be very grateful. Questions?
Good morning. We had our annual holiday bazaar on Friday, October the 15th, and it was a big success. We had 9 residents who each had wooden creations, greeting cards, paintings, needlework, jewelry, and ceramics. Also, we had a raffle and a community table with many wonderful items. And the library had their books and sold them. And our bake sale was items from Der Dutchman. And also we had 3 outside vendors that were selling sweatshirts, knitted items, and art. Final figures of what we made on our bazaar will be out soon. We had our first mystery trip on November the 1st. We went to the McConnell Art Museum to see an exhibit of plein air painting by local artists, and stopped to have lunch at Lee's Seafood Restaurant, and a good time was had by everybody that went. And Vega is having a one-day workshop. In fact, it's going on right now, a workshop on composition elements of visual art. And it started today at 10 a.m. And we will be putting on a new exhibit in the art gallery on November the 13th, showing Uta Neckerman's beautiful photography, and it's going to be a great show. Upcoming trips will include the immersive Van Gogh exhibit on December the 7th, and in January we will see Van Gogh at the Columbus Art Museum. Respectfully submitted by Ann Dipple. Thank you.
Thank you. Good morning. I will report on the Wellness Committee. Their last meeting was October 28th. And the following discussion and presentation and discussion was offered by the 4 staff members of the Wellness Department. Lauren, who is the newest staff member, reported on her classes of band and bar. Interesting label. So Mike Horstoff reported on some of his exercise classes that he teaches, and they are devoted to strengthening, working with free weights, and balance. And Jill reported on her class, Mat and More and Core. And that's teaching us how to get down on the floor and then how to get up. It's a very useful exercise if you think of the number of times you'd like to be able to get down on the floor, but don't dare. Jeannie spoke about her exercise class, which is dance aerobics. And there's more to dance aerobics than the title will give you.
It's very good for balance, memory, and endurance because you are on your feet moving for 30 minutes. If you need to take a rest, that's okay, but the group just keeps going. All of these people do active teaching and teach other classes. This is just a few of their most favorite and popular ones. Jeannie announced that the program that was started maybe last spring, called Stepping On, which was devoted to teaching balance, will not be repeated. It had to be stopped because of COVID. But what they have found is that part of it is a staff issue. The other part is that residents of Waterford and their families or their medical team has suggested that there are a number of them that need individual exercise classes. It's a matter of memory, ability, et cetera, et cetera. So the wellness staff is answering that need. They now have 19 clients requesting individual exercise classes. Jeannie also wanted us all to remember that on Touchtown, all of the exercise classes are detailed descriptions on Touchtown. And this is important for all of us, but very important for new people moving in. We moved on to a discussion of active aging, and Jeannie reported that she was really excited. It seems that this year, active aging brought more residents out and who participated and seemed to really enjoy it based on their self-report. So she reported to us that the most popular part of Active Aging Week and was better attended than any, even though we had great attendance, was the Native American Indian flutist. And so they're going to bring him back for a repeat performance in November. So look for the date. It's before Thanksgiving. Moving right along, we talked about suggestions for the holidays, and the wellness team really listens to resident suggestions. They've already planned our Thanksgiving week. We'll have a repeat performance of the turkey trot, followed by fresh pumpkin pie and hot coffee this year. So solicitations were taken for the Adventure Club. So that completes our meeting. Thank you very much.
Hi, and thank you. Good morning. I'm Lois Fulmer, and I'm chairman of the Spiritual Care Committee. Operation Christmas Child has been a project sponsored by the committee, and it will be ending very soon. That is ending just for this year. All boxes should be turned in by the 15th of November. Christmas gift wrapping for residents and associates will be offered this year. If you remember, we were not able to do that last year because of COVID. We hope to have 2 dates in December. When all of the details and specifics are in place, we'll be sure to let you know. And please bring your packages so that we can wrap them for you. A hymn sing of Christmas music will be on December the 9th, 1 o'clock, right here in the Muirfield Room. Both religious and secular Christmas music will be sung. In October, the committee was notified of a bequest given directly to the Spiritual Care Committee from the estate of Rosemary Belt. It was in the amount of $18,702.87. After a lengthy discussion by the committee in November, and if you were there, you know exactly what I'm talking about, it was decided by the committee to donate $15,000 to the fund for the new chapel. This money is specifically earmarked for a special decorative 6-foot by 6-foot stained glass panel, which will be backlit. And the panel will be on a wall in the chapel, and it will be dedicated to Rosemary. As of October the 29th, 2021, we have $23,740.86 in our treasury, and this amount includes the amount of the bequest. Thank you. Oh, I'm sorry. I couldn't find you. I'm sorry. We're here.
The Residents Healthcare Committee met on September 21st. 2 performance improvement projects were discussed, approved, and teams formulated. The first team is food portion control in the health center. The improvement opportunity is to educate residents and families about the reasons for food portion control, nutritional values, food options, vulnerability, and significant weight loss. Judy Lee, team leader with 2 committee volunteers, and dietitian Kristen Mathias are on the committee. This second project is an assessment for the need for a quick reference pocket guide of frequently asked questions about health and wellness navigation services. The improvement opportunity is the development of a residential survey to assess the need, interview residents, perform baseline measurements, and gather pertinent information. Sandy Cornett and Ava Isley will lead this team with 1 committee member volunteer.
Ava Isley presented information relating to residential discharges from hospitals back to Friendship Village. She shared her QAR metrics, noting many related to independent living and Waterford Place. Fall's focus was providing including data. Jessica Riker explained the status of Alderwood certification. Friendship Village is awaiting the final ruling regarding nursing home vaccination rules with greater than 100 employees. Gene Forbes expressed appreciation for Friendship Village providing rapid testing to our residents. Committee member stated the directions on these kits are not easy to follow. Jessica will investigate and report findings at the November committee meeting, and we will report findings back to the residents. Jessica Riker will provide a presentation regarding the Rowan House memory care unit plans at the committee's November meeting. Any questions? Thank you.
Good morning. I'm Lois Meredith, Chair of the Program Committee. During the quarter, the Residents' Council made a decision
to combine the program committee and lifelong learning into one committee. The quarter began with lots of fun. Kingwood Center Gardens, a day at the Stratford Ecological Center, picnic at the Pops, scenic drives, Ohio Caverns, and the Decorative Arts Center of Ohio. Guest speakers were Dr. Ben Buchan, Ed Lentz, and lots of special music and learning experiences. Looking forward to November, a wonderful mystery trip has already happened, a happy hour in the Muirfield Room. Still to come, patriotic songs, Veterans Day celebrations, Native American flutes with Mark Camden. Guest speakers, Tommy Robertson, Bob Ford, and storytelling and Thanksgiving music, and some new types of trivia and tabletop games. December will bring celebrating Hanukkah, putting up the Christmas decorations, possibly a trip to Franklin Park's Conservatory, a wine tasting with our own Tim Klunk, and many other guest speakers, music experiences, and wonderful holiday celebrations. Life is good at Friendship Village of Dublin. Respectfully submitted, Lois Meredith, Program Chair.
Hello, I'm Jane Parnes, Chair of the Environmental Support Services Committee. How's this? More? Lower? Higher. Okay. This quarter, the Environmental Support Services Committee met in August and September. Our October meeting was canceled because the ESS staff had a meeting that conflicted. In August, Pam Collins introduced to the group the plan to install nature stone flooring for the pool area. The committee had the opportunity to see samples of the product, ask questions, and comment on the plan. Because none of the members present were frequent users of the area, the suggestion was to seek the opinions of members of the Aqua Aerobics class. The new floor was installed in October. Sally Cohen expressed being pleased that the use of Touchtown had increased orders via Works Hub. In September, Seth White informed the group that he has hired a new associate, John Pierre, who has great experience with floor care. He will work a shift from 2 to 11 p.m. and will use all the various floor cleaning machines. Pam Collins announced that the chairs in the Muirfield room will be replaced, and she will seek input from residents regarding fabric and color. Angela McKeever spoke about the windows that are on order for Ash Run and Brandywine. It's a large order and is taking a lot of time to be filled. An update in last month's town hall meeting was that work will begin in October. There is preparation to be done prior to inserting the windows. Angela also stated that air conditioning units for the lounges are on back order and may not be available until next summer. A final note, the committee appreciates that the changes that were made to the description of the ESS committee in the bylaws. Thank you.
Good morning. Overall, it has been an excellent year for the 46 gardeners. Many were picking tomatoes through Halloween, and a number of gardeners have been reluctant to pull the last of the blooming flowers. However, the frosts of the last week have accelerated this cleanup. Andy Howland, our committee liaison, gave numerous tours of our beautiful campus. Many were interested in our raised bed gardens as well, as they are unique. An end-of-the-year pizza party was held in October to honor Andy, our hard-working landscape crew, Steve Berry, Patrick Abruzzese, and Charlie Lefevre, as well as Sally Cohen, plant coordinator, for her invaluable service to Andy. At that time, a wonderful poem for Andy was written and read by Mitch Mitchell. It is hoped that the committee will be able to hold several lectures and trips in 2022. Sign up for the gardens begins December 1st and is on a first-come basis. There will be an informational meeting of all the committees held on December 2nd for any questions residents may have about the gardens. Respectfully submitted, Bonnie Protz.
Good morning. Following plans made earlier in the year, the Library Committee authorized the purchase of new large print books with money from both the Community Enrichment Fund and the library's cash reserves. With the help from Bonnie Darrow, 23 new books were ordered and subsequently added to the large print shelves. The library's cash reserves accumulates modestly over time when the books we cannot use are sold to half-price books. The Library Committee is especially grateful for the financial support provided by the Community Enrichment Fund. At our recent Community Bazaar, we sold 28 of the donated coffee table books for which the library does not have display space. These sales, along with 2 pieces of artwork, added $81 to the purchase of additional large print books. We will consider this at our November 15th meeting. We passed along quite a few no longer needed books to Alderwood's activity room and continue to share magazines, used magazines, with Waterford as well. The donation of books, whether single items or multiple boxes, continue to refresh the library's shelves, and we appreciate these gifts from residents, their families, and their friends. Midsummer's Surprise was a donation of over 150 DVDs all at once. This was the last sentence I wrote. Things are going well with the library's newspaper display, which is the most welcome change. That was true until Friday morning. We have had a weekend of newspaper disruption. We've had a substitute delivery person. It is my understanding our regular person will be back tomorrow. Respectfully submitted, Mabel and Dolores.
Good morning, or good day to those who are watching on the YouTube channel sometime later. I'm Chip Wilson, Chairman of the Workshop Committee. As many of you know, activities in the workshop fall into 2 categories. We have personal projects for members of the workshop, and we have service projects for serving other residents. During the last quarter, most workshop projects were focused on getting ready for the holiday bazaar. Items made by the hands of 5 workshop members were offered for sale to residents, associates, and a few visitors. A portion of the bazaar income was given to the Art Committee Scholarship Fund, and the remainder will be used for workshop expenses. Workshop members have also been busy over the last quarter on a number of service projects. The nature and breadth of these service projects is rather wide. During the last quarter, we repaired 6 tables or chairs, repaired 4 lamps, 4 pieces of furniture were assembled, and 13 other miscellaneous projects were taken care of for residents. If you could use a similar service to these, please contact either Preston Forbes, Dave Stam, or myself. All projects start with an evaluation to see that what you have that needs to be done is something that we can actually take care of. Finally, I'll mention that the printed copy of this report that you'll be getting in your mailboxes contains pictures of the Holiday Bazaar table that we had and also various other service projects that we've done. Thank you very much.
Thank you for your attention this morning, and I hope that you have learned about a lot of activities that happen here at Friendship Village as you listen to those committee reports. So be prepared to sign up for those committees that interest you. That sign up will be on December the 2nd at 11 o'clock here in the Murfield Room. So have a good day. Enjoy Friendship Village of Dublin this week.